Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at MrDirk.com. Well, surprise, 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 Oiler fans. Look who was ready to play some hockey tonight. Yes, Connor McDavid with a triumphant return to the lineup, an unexpected return to the lineup. Shocked everybody. I think it shocked his head coach, too, who told us all he's not going tonight. But McDavid fought and clawed and scrapped his way back into the lineup, and boy, did it make a difference. Great performance from him coming off the shelf. Absolutely clutch. We're both of the Connors tonight. That's an important win for this team. Real leadership display by the captain tonight. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. We got a great show tonight. Looking forward to breaking down everything that happened today and in this game. We got Struddy. We'll have Brownie once he's done taking everyone else's calls over on Ched. And we got Zuby at Growler Media World Headquarters in Kelowna. We're locked and loaded for a great show tonight. As always, our show brought to you by Play Alberta. Why choose Play Alberta? Well, just ask any hockey fan who loves odds boosts, player props, and same-game parlays, or slots players who love the massive jackpots, lottery players who can grab last-minute tickets on the go. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with the code GYB04 at playalberta.ca. I'm pulled over safely right now in our mobile Adrenaline Diesel studio. It is Edmonton's premier heavy-duty diesel truck repair shop, specializing in powertrain tuning, performance, and parts sales. Visit adrenalinediesel.ca. We have the two stars of Struddy's World every Wednesday live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch from 12 to 1 o'clock. It was another great show today, gentlemen. Struddy's World going well, and I'm sensing between you two, the bond is growing, Zuby. I can feel you guys, you send notes that are meant for each other on our group chats. You have little inside jokes that are developing now. I sense the bond growing as a result of this new show.
I make sure to like everything he puts on Instagram. Add a couple of emojis on there and stuff like that. No, it's great. It's we're having lots of fun, or I am. I'll speak for myself. We're having lots of fun. We're getting a good group on the stream. Lots of regular names that we recognize, and I think we're finding our groove with how we're bringing the content through to the people.
Well, we're like Kenny and Dolly Parton, right? We're tight. We're getting tighter all the time.
We are islands in the stream. That's correct. Yes.
So I'm walking out. Well, the show was great today. So I'm walking out of the rink tonight, and this guy kind of looks at me, and I can tell he's, whatever. He might know who I am, whatever. I'm walking, and he looks at me, and then he's like, dude. He goes, dude. And I'm like, hey, man. He goes, Struddy. I'm like, pardon? And he's like, Jason Strudwick. I go, God. Yeah? He's like, can I get a picture? I said, yeah, for sure. So I stand there and I take his picture. And as we're taking the picture, I say to him, so who do you think I am? He's like, Jason Strudwick. I watch Got Your Back all the time. I'm like, right on. So the guy takes a picture. I shake his hand. We chatted for a minute. I let it breathe. And then just as I was leaving, I said, oh, by the way, I'm Rishaug, not Strudwick. And he was like, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. So I don't recall the last time I had been insulted like that, Struds.
Yeah. How do you think I feel over here?
Yeah.
Holy jeez. He doesn't know I'm taller than 5'10".
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what I'm noticing, and I noticed this on the broadcasts, especially. We can't see it quite so much on the pod, but you, like me, and if you got the idea from me, it's okay. You could admit it. But you are now going with the 5 o'clock shadow on television. You weren't always doing that before. And I noticed, you've kind of done it recently since I made that move last year, and you have slowly gravitated over towards it as well. My logic is with just a little bit more forehead visible these days. Got to balance out the look with a bit of a beard. And I noticed you followed suit.
Yeah, that's why my question, because I do notice, you amongst others are having a fairly decent 5 o'clock shadow. I call it like a 9 o'clock shadow. So I think it actually looks good when it comes across on TV to have a little bit that
Thanks,
are
buddy.
just kind of going for it. So yeah, so I'm following your lead.
I like it. Now, if you can only just, pay attention to some of the suits and clothing I wear, because there were some comments tonight.
Well, I know the ladies were loving it. I mean, the demographics from the 45 to 7-year-old ladies is crazy. It's just, they couldn't be happier.
Did you? I saw you, Struddy,
stuff.
but I didn't clue in for me. Someone on the stream is saying you wore a pea coat. Is that accurate? What were you wearing tonight?
I don't even know what a pea coat is.
I think that's what it was. I think that might have been what it was. You wear it well, buddy. Yeah, whatever it is, you wear it well. Okay, enough of these shenanigans. We got an eventful night to talk about. So, Struds, my friend, let's get to our breakdown brought to you by our good friends over at the Alberta Ram Dealers.
It's a Ram Motor Trend celebration event. Lease a 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab for only $139 weekly at 2.49% for 42 months. See your Alberta Ram dealer today.
Okay, so we go to practice this morning. McDavid's buzzing all over the place. He looks good. But a bunch of cold water gets thrown on that. Immediately, Chris Knobloch says he's not playing. Then we all saw the report later in the afternoon from Chris Johnston saying, big story brewing in Edmonton. And it looks like McDavid's going to play. Connor McDavid in the lineup tonight, Strud. So we're going to spend some time breaking down the game. But I want to kind of push that back a little bit. And I want to talk a little more specifically about Connor McDavid, the situation he was in, and the decision that he made. But to do that, we need to get to the Weiss Johnson soundbox. Struds, we'll do the read for that in a minute. But right away, Zuby, let's go to Connor McDavid postgame, where he was asked a few questions just kind of about how that went down today.
What I learned today,
Sorry, you want this one about what he learned today, or the three banger?
Go the three banger.
Okay.
I wasn't taking anyone's spot, so I thought it was an opportunity. And hey, if it was no good, if you go out and a couple shifts, no good, come off. Wasn't taking anyone's spot, so obviously felt good. No problems.
Did you need to see that yourself, go a few shifts in and great situations and say, okay, I'm good, because it's obviously...
It's tough. It's that time of year. It's that time of year where there's not many practices. I've been skating by myself. I don't know how many more tight turns I can do before you just got to go, Obviously, coming back from injury sucks mentally for any athlete, but especially, in hockey, so unpredictable. There's so many variables, things that you can't account for. So, it was nice to get that out of the way mentally.
Is it something you're confident, Connor, that it's not going to linger, that once you're back, you're okay, and it's maybe more of a mental hurdle than physical?
We got a great medical staff here. I'm confident we're going to get everybody ready to roll when it comes time. Everybody's kind of on their own path. Everybody's kind of trying to, do whatever they can to get ready when it's real. Part of that for me is getting into games and feeling the puck and getting into different situations that only a game can provide.
Okay, so a lot there from McDavid, Struddy. A couple things that stand out to me. Number one, he said, if I tried it out and it didn't feel great, then so be it. You pull back, which you kind of go like, whoa. So were they actually taking a chance tonight or not? I don't think they were. Chris Knobloch made it clear that he was cleared by doctors. But the other thing that stands out to me, buddy, is McDavid saying that I wasn't taking anybody's spot. In other words, if I try and go and can't, it's not like I've forced a healthy body out of the lineup, which ends up hurting the team. He saw that Nugent Hopkins wasn't going, saw that Wallman wasn't going, knows how banged up they are, and basically willed his way into that lineup tonight, Struds. And I view that as some significant leadership, but well thought out on his part. You?
Yeah, 100%. You look at it, you're missing the three top centers. I mean, if you're on the fence of playing, you're going to play. Now, I want to make this crystal clear. If he had come to the training staff and said, hey, I want to play, and they didn't think he was ready to play, he wouldn't have played. I truly feel
Agreed.
that strongly. They are going to make sure that it's the right thing for him. And sometimes players don't like hearing it. Hey man, you're not ready to go. We're not going to clear you. But so I'm guessing what happened is he was probably going to play the next game, no matter what. And they're like, they see Nugent Hopkins drops out, and today was, 50-50. And not because it is good or not. It's because they're like, one more day is going to be fine with you. So, but I think he looked at it and said, guys, if I'm good enough to go, I got to go, because this team, we need help. We need help right now.
Yeah, something clearly changed, Struds. The plan was for him not to be in the lineup today. But it was pointed out to me after, and I was mad because I didn't notice today. He actually came off quite quickly after morning skate, which often is an indication that a guy might go, because otherwise you stay out there and you do a little bit of extra work.
Right.
Zuby, do we have a clip specifically from Knobloch about the process today through his eyes and how McDavid ended up in the lineup through the coach's eyes? Because remember, he's the one that stood there and was like, he's out. And then McDavid ends up playing. So something definitely changed. Zuby, what do we got in the Weiss Johnson soundbox?
Yeah, well, I got him from this morning, too, if you want to hear it quickly. It's a short clip of what he said this morning.
Go ahead.
And then so this was this morning.
Those guys are, day-to-day to maybe a week away. So that's where the timeline is for them.
And then this was him talking about how the day kind of played out.
With Connor coming back, obviously he comes in, talks to the medical staff and itching to be in, and he goes out on the ice, evaluates it, sees how he feels. He reports back to the medical staff. He's got to be cleared by the doctor. Our doctor's not here at the moment, but he eventually sees him. And then with Wallman, it was felt that he was questionable, and he did go on the ice and just didn't feel quite that he was ready, and felt that the time off would be beneficial for him. And certainly with the timing of where we are right now, with only a week or so away from starting playoffs, we don't want to make anything worse and have somebody sitting on the shelf when that doesn't have to happen.
And then Zuby, go ahead and roll that last clip from McDavid talking about the process today. He says what I learned today, but that's not really what we asked him. But roll that last clip where he talks specifically about the way the system worked today, whereby he started out of the lineup and ended up playing.
What I learned today, obviously it's a big unified group here, medical guys, management, coaching staff, players here, medical guys are always looking out for what's best for the player, as they should be, as they always should be. And it's a player's job to be available and play and do his job. Everybody's just trying to do their job. And, I thought the system worked well today with lots of communication with all groups. And, unfortunately I didn't get to do this in the morning, so apologize to you guys on that. But ultimately it was a busy day for sure.
Yeah, and no apology needed, but thanks, Connor. So Struddy, it was a move and changing scenario all day long. Bottom line, this player lobbied to be in, wanted to be in, pushed hard to be in. And, there is wiggle room there, because a lot of it ends up being about how he feels. And I agree with you. Doctors, trainers would not be clearing him if he wasn't ready, Struds. But it's like, if you're already using an abundance of caution, and maybe you're even a few days into that abundance of caution where you could already be playing, pulling it back a day maybe isn't that big a deal.
I like the way you're framing that. And I think that, did they know Wallman wasn't going to play for sure? I don't know. Did they know Nugent Hopkins wasn't going to play for sure yesterday? I don't know. But you wake up and there's two more guys dropping out on top of Ekholm, on top of all the guys, and you're the next one closest, and you probably could play. You can't. It's hard to stay off the side. You're like, I got to help these guys. That's what a captain does.
Yes.
That's what anyone would do. I got to go help these guys out. And he's a big help. Like, this isn't a seventh defenseman coming back, right?
Yeah.
So I think that, I'm guessing Nuge would have done it. Draisaitl, Nurse, all those guys would have done it if they were in the same position to come help out, because you just hate sitting on the sidelines watching your team not flounder, but struggle because of the injuries that you have across the line.
Well, when you consider the standings, a 6-point lead on the Calgary Flames, and you're going, okay, that should feel comfortable. But then you got nobody to play in the game tonight. Calgary wins against Anaheim and you lose. Now it's a 4-point gap. And that is not as comfortable. And McDavid would be highly aware of that as well. So got himself in and made a huge difference. Let's get to breaking the game down here. First, though, Struds, we've been disrespecting Weiss Johnson here. We've run multiple clips, and the jingle has not run. We haven't done the ad read. Dennis is going to be fuming right now. So we will remind you, all of our sound in our always valued Weiss Johnson digital sound box is presented, Struddy, by our friends at Weiss Johnson.
Heating and air conditioning. The team over at Weiss Johnson are already seeing an increase in requests for air conditioning, so beat the rush and call them today. The heat is coming. Specializing in servicing your existing mechanical systems or installing new ones, Weiss Johnson is here for all your home comfort needs. Visit weissjohnson.com today. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, hit it, baby. Johnson, let it breathe. All right.
We got Brownie here on the line now too.
Brownie.
Nice. Okay, Brownie, we just beat up the McDavid return to the lineup and why and how and all that to death. So maybe we'll get some of your thoughts on that a little bit later. But we need to start breaking down what actually happened in the game. And Brownie, for McDavid to come off the shelf after that long off and put together that performance, I wouldn't say anybody's surprised, but like file it into another chapter of, McDavid being able to do pretty amazing things that not many other people can.
You're right. I think we would have been surprised if he didn't play like that. That's the expectation when you're the world's greatest. You could be off a month, you could be off 4 months, you could be off whatever. When you're back in the lineup, we expect you to be the best on the ice, and he was right from the very first shift. He created turnovers. He was all over the place and probably could have had 3 or 4 points in the first period. But it is amazing, though, the difference this team is with one player in the lineup. That was a completely different hockey club than we saw because there's execution. You have someone that can finish. You have someone that creates plays that allows his line mates tap in. So I think Connor McDavid gave you what Connor McDavid gives you. He gives you first performance just about every time he steps on the ice.
Yeah, that's well said. And I think the biggest thing is that it just draws so much attention. The other team now has someone to focus on. And I know when I play D and, other teams' top player or top couple players are out, it's like, oh, their top players who now? Roberto Brown? That's not so bad instead of Marilyn Yu, right? So you're like, it changes the whole dynamic quite a bit. And probably felt the same when other teams will look over and see Strudwick was a second pairing defenseman, like, oh man, this is going to be an easy one. But that's what it does. So you get way more attention. And then it just kind of changes the energy on the ice for the defending team.
Struds, what did you think of the line that he was on? Obviously, there was some production there, which is great. Did they do enough to make you interested in seeing more of that, maybe in the next game?
Well, I'll start with Skinner, the skater. Skinner right away and early in the game, 2 times the puck went on his stick right in the slot, and he was unable to get a shot off. And I wasn't a great player, but I know that great players, when they pass you in that slot, they expect a shot, right? Because they're working hard to get you in that spot. They're not happening. And the one actually resulted in pretty much directly in a goal against on the power play. So those are things that you have to really kind of be dialed in on. But the whole team, I think, played better in the second and third period. They got going, including those wingers. And Brown was able to get a couple goals, and then Skinner was, involved in the game. I think long term, I don't expect when everyone's healthy for that line to be together much further than what we saw today. Brownie?
Yeah, I agree. It was a tough and frustrating start of the game for Skinner. He muffs two plays. He gets cross-checked in the head. He gets tugged back on a back check and then sits for 10 minutes. But I thought, as you said, they got better as the game moved on. I thought Colton had a strong game, taking the puck to the net physically. I agreed. You know what? They might be a line on Friday, but they will not be a line 2 Fridays from now or whenever the playoffs start. But again, a number of players needed to have good nights tonight, and I don't know if there's anyone in the Oilers lineup that actually took a step back tonight. I thought everybody showed well as they tried to audition to be part of the playoffs.
Yeah, some secondary scoring, which was good, although McDavid was the architect of a lot of it for sure. But some different guys banging pucks in, which matters. I didn't mind the fourth line tonight, Struds. I thought there was some energy there and some enthusiasm. What did you see from what was it? It was Philp, Jones, and was Kapanen the other player on that line?
Cappy. Yeah, the old Cappy. So I thought that they really skated well. Again, in the first period, I don't really know that they played much more than 2-3 minutes. They were barely out there. And then they seemed to get some more ice time and get themselves going. And I really thought they skated well tonight. And they were skating downhill, getting the pucks behind the D, getting after it. Then, we saw Max Jones, something we haven't really seen, I think, since game 1 or 2 of his arrival here in Edmonton. He took the puck hard to the net, put the D-man on his back in a backpack and drove the puck to the net hard, had a bit of a collision with the netminder. I mean, that to me is what he's got to be doing all the time. And I know it's not easy to always create those opportunities, Brownie, but if you can somehow get a half step on a D-man, just take it there. Not even with the intention of scoring. Just get there to make life uncomfortable for netminder and D-man on the opposing team.
Well, what it does, Struds, is it creates chaos. When you take the puck to the net, you might not score, but now there's chaos in front of the net, and someone else comes up and cleans up the garbage. So, yeah, I thought Jones was good tonight, but the problem for Jones is there's been no consistency. There's been nights you don't notice him. If you're a fourth-line guy, you have to be noticed every night. But I thought that the best player on that line was Noah Philp. I mean, I thought he came up, he looked confident. He looked confident making plays, looked confident in his own zone, taking an extra second to make the proper play, didn't just throw it away. Going to the front of the net, he had a wonderful tip. It didn't go in. I think it brushed the post and stayed out. But I thought Noah Philp, I thought the whole line played well, and so did the coach, because you kept playing them as the night went on. But I thought Noah Philp was the one that drove that line. I don't think Noah Philp starts game 1 of the playoffs, but I think this was another good audition for Philp, that if needed in the playoffs, the coach will be comfortable with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, Struds, I'll leave you with this, and I'm going to bounce inside, but I think we need to acknowledge Pickard here at this juncture, because another performance where in clutch moments he was able to come up with really critical saves, and not always the prettiest, but pretty clutch. And I'll leave you two to chat about the goalie a little bit, and I'll head inside. Then you guys got relentless in our poll, so I'll chat with you in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, thanks. Brownie, what I liked about his game, Pickard, that is, tonight, is that he reads the play so well. How many times did he get across in time and read the backdoor one-timer tonight? It was at least 2 or 3, probably more.
Well, and it was a young kid. I had his name earlier. Now it's lost. I've lost it. He's got a double D, I'm going to call him. He's 19-year-old, had 2 huge one-timers, and both one-timers, when Pickard stopped it, there was nothing there. It's not like Pickard dove across and somehow got a piece of the body out. He had already read that's where the puck was going. The kid both times got full wood on it, and Pickard was square to the shooter. It was a great game by Pickard, and a game that everyone's excited about. The Oilers won without a bunch of players in their lineup. There were big mistakes in this game because the St. Louis Blues had 3 breakaways in this hockey game. 3. Calvin Pickard stopped all of them. So, and then he made a couple big saves down the stretch. So the 3 goals against, the save percentage probably don't really tell the whole story of how well Pickard played in this game. At the end of the day, it's simple. He outplayed Team Canada's gold medal winning goalie. He outplayed Binnington in the hockey game, and again, continues to cement himself as a legitimate option for the Edmonton Oilers in the playoffs.
Yeah, he knows the game. He's not the most beautiful goalie, but he knows the game, and he's there. And your point's really about, man, on those one-timers. He was there waiting for it to come, and he was square on it. And that's pretty impressive. As a D-man, you really appreciate that for sure. Okay, well, let's get to our Relentless Player, brought to you by You Can Youth Services, an Edmonton charity relentless in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and get employment. Visit youcan.ca to see how your donation can change lives right here in our community. I am going to give the collective Relentless Player to the Oilers skaters. I truly feel, and we touch on it a bit, they drove the net. They drove the net, and in past games, they were willing to just take it, go around the net behind the other way. They were just trying to get it there. They were cutting to the middle. And we need more of that. Then we talk about the goals. Paul Cole's in goal. He's literally parked in front. That's a drill you do in practice. You put your bum right in front of the goalie's chest, D-man shoot pucks from there, and you tip it or catch the rebound and tap it in. It was great to watch, Brownie, because you think of Browns, Paul Cole's in, Arvidsson's. I mean, 3 of the 4 goals, and even, well, I guess both Browns really were from right around that net.
Well, you know as well as I do, Strud, come playoff time, not as many pretty goals. There's not a lot of defensive breakdowns, not a lot of odd man breaks. All the goals are scored in the blue paint. It becomes there's just no room on the ice, and especially in the Oilers, they're going to have to go through LA and Vegas, and both teams play very, very good defensive hockey. If you want to score, hang out in the blue paint. And in all honesty, it all started with Corey Perry going to the net, and it's funny the accidental knee to the head of Binnington. He meant to do that 100%. Started all of that, but it was Corey Perry getting to the blue paint, and he led by example. Everyone followed. For the Oilers to win in the playoffs, they're going to have to score a bunch of goals in and around that area. I thought, tonight, great example of the right way to play hockey offensively. The Oilers were very good getting to the blue paint.
We need to see more of that. I know, and when the big boys come back, they got to remember that. Everyone's got to remember they got to get to that blue paint. Let's now dive into our YouTube poll, brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. The snow will start melting yet again, and golf season will be here soon. 2025 equipment is now fully loaded in the fitting carts. DeBoer's is booking fitting 10 days in advance, so call now to get your spot. Get fit to play your best by the team dedicated to helping you play better golf. Visit them at 5311 99th Street in Edmonton. Guys, I was there today. They've got a lot of stuff in there, and I got myself a new golf bag. Carry bag. I carry the bag. I don't pull it. I don't put it on a machine to pull it for me. I pull it. I carry it myself. And this it's basically a pencil case. I'm going to put my driver, putter, and most likely a lob wedge. Zoobs, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, that's about how many clubs I need. I don't know why. I barely play. I don't play very often, but there's lots of times I'm like, I use 3 clubs. What am I doing with this thing? Okay. Here's the question tonight. If everyone is healthy, is Jeff Skinner in your playoff game 1 lineup? We know where Brownie. Well, Brownie, I don't know what your opinion is, but you expect that he's not in the lineup if everyone's healthy. That's been your contention for a long time. So this is an opinion poll. If you're the coach, if he's healthy, are you playing him game 1? That's what we're asking the stream tonight.
Well, I would play him.
Right.
This is only if everyone's healthy. I would play him. I don't think Chris Knobloch will.
Right.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right, Brownie. And a lot of it's going to be, unfortunately for him, I think it depends on how Frederick does, how Kane does, like all these other guys, or even Paul Colson, how he's doing. If they're not scoring, they might put him in there to add a little bit of extra scoring, deeper down the lineup. What do you think, Zoops?
No, you're right. I just think I think for game 1, I don't think if they're all healthy, I don't think Skinner plays game 1. But I do believe he will at some point get in the lineup, or I hope he does, because I think he will be, as you said, at some point he's going to score a big goal for the Oilers.
The one thing I noticed today, and I'll get your opinion quick, Brownie. I noticed he was doing a ton of 10 and 2s. So that's where you're kind of, rocking back and forth when you're trying to go in. The problem is there's not a lot of speed there. So it looks good, but I just don't like, he didn't look as fast to me today at times because he was 10 and 2ing so much. And I don't know that it works all the time.
No, I agree. I mean, he likes to create for himself, and he does that. He's kind of slimy, where he's turning one way, just trying to maneuver himself through. But you're right. When you do 10 and 2, when you do, we call them the Sidney Crosbys at Academy, you lose speed. You're more or less in the same spot. You're just turning your body different directions. I agree 100% that he didn't look as quick today as he has in other games.
One thing I would, my answer to the poll question would be yes. The only thing I could say about holding him out is we already think he might be shot out of a cannon playing his first playoff game. But imagine if you did hold him out for a couple games and his first playoff game he ever plays is game 3 or something, when maybe the series is already starting to drag on the other guys. Maybe he gives you a big bump coming in game 3 or game 4 with that energy in his first ever playoff game. Just a thought.
The only problem with that is you're not changing a lineup unless you're losing.
Sure.
So so if the Oilers if things are going wrong, if Skinner comes in or anyone changes the lineup come game 3 or game 4.
And Knobloch, he usually takes them two games to find the right lineup. That's what happened last year in the playoffs. So we'll see what happens this year. We're still 4 games away, though, 2 against the Sharks, the Kings, and the Jets. So still a little ways to go. Let's step out here quick, boys. When we get back, we'll get into some takeaways from tonight. Big scrum. What do we think of the scrum? With more on that and Schauger next here on The Big Show.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
Mellotron says, man, if we get this RV in the playoffs, that would be huge. Yes, few players poking their heads out late in the season saying, remember me. Arvidson's certainly one of those guys. Time for takeaways brought to you by Martin Motorsports. The YEG Motorcycle Show is coming next weekend at the Edmonton Expo Center. View the lineup of Can-Am on and off-road products, including the new Can-Am Pulse electric 2-wheel motorcycle. While you're there, sign up for their demo days happening later on this summer to test out your next ride. Martin Motorsports. Visit them online or at their 2 Edmonton locations. All right, moving right along here with takeaways. Brownie's going to be hopping in from his home studio momentarily. Struds, you brought up the scrum before. Oh, should also mention, by the way, had a conversation with Noah Philp earlier today before the game. That's going to run in a few segments' time. So I had a chance to catch up with Philp, talk about the year to date. Nice. So stay tuned for that interview. Struds, you talked about the little scrummage. Classic Corey Perry, buddy. Like, he had that ankle and shin bone all over the face and mask of Jordan Binnington and that little fake stop just in time.
In time. I was kind of pushed a little bit as I was going to the net. Like, that's classic Corey Perry move. But I like it. I like it. Binnington's a guy who defends his blue paint very intensely. And we've seen him do many things over the year. Puts on the old Tony Toughnuts act and yells and barks at guys and complains to the refs. But that's what he does. And I give him credit. Like, he's owning his own blue paint. I think there's some lessons to be taken there for other goalies around the league. If you feel like you're getting bumped into too often, So Corey goes in there, and I thought it was pretty big overreaction. But if the Oilers, that's what you want. You want that type of reaction, and they continue to go to the blue paint all night. So, and I also loved how everyone got involved. Everyone was pushing and shoving in that scrum.
Well, it was funny too, like on radio. It was an accident. Yeah, that wasn't an accident. That was 100% on purpose. Like he knew exactly where he was and what he was doing. That's what makes him effective. And it just, what you're trying to do, he's a good goaltender. Just give him something else to think about. And Corey Perry's as good as anyone in the National Hockey League at that.
Yeah. And when you say overreaction, Struds, you mean by Binnington?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I mean, but that's his gig. That's what he does. And he's a good goalie. Do we see any overreacting during the Four Nations Cup? No. But he in regular season, when I've watched them play, I think he's okay with taking the odd penalty to keep people out of that crease and out of that area. Yeah. And I think it also draws awareness from the refs, like, geez, did I miss something? Like, how bad was that he got that mad, right? But I mean, is there a goalie that reacts more than that in the league? Not that I know of, that gets that upset.
Oh, for sure. He's the league leader one by a mile.
But I think that's premeditated. I think he has that plan to keep people away from the blue paint. And I actually respect it.
Although having said that, he was called out by his coach, Berube. Was it before Berube got fired? He told him publicly said, "Hey, just stop the puck. Enough with all the other stuff. Just stop the puck." So eventually, it does wear out. You got to pick your spots, and I agree. He was mad, but he got the punch. He didn't need to do the full tackle afterwards.
No. Yeah, you already had the guy down. You didn't have to try to go for the rear naked choke. Like you had him, right? He was going to win the fight on points.
Yeah. He definitely went snap show a little bit there. The other thing we saw early in the game was Jeff Skinner. So the Oilers end up on a power play. Skinner gets kind of dummied off the draw with a bit of a cross check that got missed. And then his sweater gets grabbed on the back check and he loses it, fires a big slash back in return. And St. Louis ends up scoring. Skinner loses it, like snaps and smashes his stick and yelling at the refs and gets a 10-minute misconduct. He's all pissed off. I mean, the refs completely blew it. Either one of those or both should have been a call. I think we would all agree on that. My question to you, though, Brownie, is are you okay with Skinner's reaction, emotion level in the moment? Did he, can you understand why he reacted the way he did given that situation? Or would you say, no. You're playing with the big guy tonight. You got to hold your temper and not do that.
It's easy to say hold your temper until you're in the moment. He turned the puck over. I mean, that was the second time. As Strud said, twice in the first 2 minutes of the game, he turned the puck over. So you're frustrated from that. It was a pretty good cross check to the back of the head or punch to the back of the head off the face off. And then the tug, and this is what was dumb. If I'm Montgomery on the bench, I would be absolutely livid at the guy that pulled the jersey. Skinner wasn't catching him. It was a 2-on-1. That should have been a penalty. It was pretty blatant. You could see it. And if you just took away a 2-on-1 shorthanded with skilled players by doing something dumb like that, that was dumb by the Blues. So twice the Oilers should have had 5-on-3 power plays. Instead, they're down 1-0. As for Skinner, you made two mistakes. You cost yourself a goal. You got cross-checked in the head, and you got tugged. At some point, there's a boiling point. And I have no problem with him snapping. I have no problem with him on that one. I mean, he only hurt himself. I mean, it's a 10-minute misconduct. So the only person that's hurt is himself because he's not playing with Connor McDavid for 10 minutes. So yeah, I got no problem with what Skinner did there because there was two blatant calls, and I'm usually pretty calm when it comes to referees, but those were two calls that were certainly missed. And if you think about it, both of them would have put the Oilers up 5-on-3 for an extended 5-on-3. Those were two blatantly missed ones, both on Skinner. I got no problem with Skinner's reaction.
Yeah, 100%. You just nailed there. I think that he was already a little bit on tilt with those two missed chances in the slot. And then the rest just kind of, after that, you're seeing red. So I get it.
Oop X, welcome to the show. Haven't seen that before. Says Skinner was holding that anger in all year. Plays well and still gets no minutes most of the year. So some pent up frustration. Says Oop Op X, whatever that handle's supposed to be. There was another good one. Oh, Mellotron says any fiery emotion injected into this team is a good thing, in my opinion. I would agree. I got no issue with Stuart or with Jeff Skinner doing that, and not afraid to lay it out there a little bit. That was fine by me. Where were we gonna go next? I wanted to ask you about Zach Hyman, guys. I believe he's 6 games now without a point, and at a time where they're looking for guys to be chipping in with McDavid and Draisaitl out. Brownie, where are you at on the fact that he hasn't been producing points versus where the quality of his game is at overall? Because I think we agree the guy works his ass off out there, and sometimes the offense doesn't come. But where are you at on his game, Brownie?
It's not where it needs to be. He hasn't played. I mean, his work ethic never wavers. I give him that. But his game isn't as good as it should be or could be. In a moment when the Oilers need more, they've got more from Skinner. They've got more from Arvidsson. They got more from Podkolzin. They've got more from Henrique. There have been players that have given them more. This is where Hyman you would expect to shine. And at times, unnoticeable. And this is a guy that when he played for the Leafs, when the Leafs came to town with Marner and Tavares and Matthews, I always seemed to notice Hyman. Like, he wouldn't have the points they had, but you always noticed him. And you'd always notice him the last couple of years here. This last little while, not as noticeable. And again, not making bad plays, not shirking defensive responsibilities, but not being the Zach Hyman that we're used to and the Zach Hyman that the Oilers need. I think he's been a little underwhelming of what we expect from Zach Hyman on a nightly basis, Struds.
I think that when you have elite players out of the lineup and you're an elite supporting player, you maybe have to adjust your game a bit to maybe have the puck more on your stick or try to control or dictate play a little bit more. And it feels like it's more like he's just getting it towards the end of the play rather than trying to, like, he's not necessarily the guys who can carry through neutral zone, but get it in offensive zone, hold that puck, make plays a little bit more. And that's because he's an elite, I think elite complementary player is probably a fair way of defining him.
Yep.
But when McDavid or Leon or Nuge aren't there, you've got to become, maybe not an elite player, but a really above average guy that can hold the puck and make plays in the offensive zone. I was watching him tonight. I don't really see that from him there. And I think it's in him.
Matt Blom, we're back now. He's Blommer
He's
now,
back.
right? Struts?
Yeah, Blommer, the Blomski. You're welcome back, buddy. Suspension's over.
Blomskinator. Yeah, the Blom man. Matty boy. What about load managing Hyman for a few games to let him physically and mentally be resetting? We know, we see this toward the end of seasons. He had the Four Nations face-off off. But, he plays a robust style and maybe not the best or the worst thing. We'd assume he's got some bumps and bruises. Would you consider giving him a couple of games off, Struds, if the need seems to be there?
Yeah, I think if people start coming back and they're starting to get a bit healthy, but that really hasn't been an option. And I know they haven't clinched a playoff spot, but it's pretty much all over. So he might be one of the guys who who can skip the last game or two. Connor McDavid spoken about a bit tonight. He said we got to clinch and then we can look at that. But quite a few guys really haven't played. So I don't know. I think you kind of got to get out there and play to find your game, don't you?
Well, the problem with that scenario is the Oilers are probably going into Monday's game against LA still having an outside chance of getting second place. So you're not going to sit Hyman out the last 2 games if one of them is against the LA Kings, if there's a possibility. I could see the last game of the season, if everything is settled, there you can pick and choose who you want in the lineup. But you certainly don't want to sit him out against Winnipeg or LA if there's still a remote possibility that you can keep the best home team in the National Hockey League away from having the extra home game in a series. So the San Jose game, last game of the season, if it means nothing, then you can give him a rest. But I don't think you rest him before that.
MythX says, Ryan, I feel what's being said about Nuge is lies. Is he actually ill or did he get hurt? Specifically when he took that awkward tumble in the second period on Monday. He'll finish the game. I don't think that they would just flat out tell us lies. They're not going to give us what the specific injuries are. Like, I don't believe Chris Knobloch was lying to us today when he said McDavid's not playing tonight. I believe that's what Chris Knobloch thought at the time. And so, they're not just going to stand there and bold-faced lie to us. So I believe that Nugent Hopkins was, a little bit ill, as they said, doubtful for that game. Heard that he tried to play and wanted to play. But you definitely don't want to be bringing sick guys around to this team. So, yeah, no, fair question. But no, I do believe what they were saying there. Okay, one more clip here from Connor McDavid, guys. And, my question to him will kind of be our next topic here. They don't have a lot of time left. They don't have a lot of synergy. Players are coming and going from the lineup. It's a turnstile. How do they feel this is all going to come together? This is so not ideal. Back to the Weiss Johnson sound box. And here's Connor McDavid.
I know you guys, you'll make the best of the situation, but maybe not ideal coming down the stretch to not have the group together and, get some consistent lines and such. What do you think that challenge would be like for you guys to kind of be piecing it back together just as playoffs start?
Well, then it falls on everybody as individuals. It'd be great to have our full lineup in and get everybody up and running together and, rolling like a big machine, but obviously that's not the case, and it falls on everybody as individuals to make sure that they're doing whatever they got to do to be ready come that opening game. I know I'm doing everything I can. I see guys around here doing everything they can. Obviously not ideal timing, but we're a good team in here. We'll figure it out.
It has to be concerning to them, Struds. Like, this is not ideal.
Well, it's not, because not only trying to get your own game organized, you're trying to get your game working with your partner, your D partner or your forward line. After the game, Knobloch talked a little bit about we're not really sure what the D partners are going to look like or the forward lines. And you're 4 games away from the start of the 83. Now, he might have an idea, but maybe not know health-wise, or he might not know what the chemistry he wants to have, because some of the guys haven't had it for a while. So it isn't ideal, but honestly, there's nothing they can do about it. They got to get healthy first. And if everyone's healthy for game 83, you slot them where you think they should be, give it a few periods. And if it doesn't work in the game 2, you maybe have to tweak it. If it works, great. You got it right.
See, I have zero concern. This is a team that doesn't play with the same lines more than 2 games in a row, and sometimes doesn't play with the same lines 2 periods in a row. It's a team that had what they thought were the right defensive pairings, and they switched them partway through the season when they're in the middle of a winning streak. I got no concern at all about this team finding chemistry in the playoffs, because they've never, ever rolled the same lines over and over and over again. This is a team that's used to change, so I think it'll just simply be more of the same for them.
Noel Rinsky says, is asking coach about player injuries the biggest waste of airtime? And then there was a follow-up to that. Where was the follow-up? I think this was a chirp at me. Well, I know it was. Neil Garrity says, Noel, I think asking about hitting ranks up there as well. So thanks for that, Neil. No, we have to ask about injuries, even if we know they're not going to give us fulsome answers and they're going to skirt about details and such. We have to ask. You never know what they might be willing to tell you. So plan for us to continue asking about injuries every single day and through the playoffs. It's just something that we got to do. All right, guys, great segment. That was Takeaways, brought to you by our good friends over at Martin Motorsports. And a reminder that the YEG Motorcycle Show coming up next weekend, Martin Motorsports at the Expo Center will be a big part of that, so go and check them out. Okay, guys, Brownie Points and Struddy's World coming up. Also, as we shared last show, we're going to be trying the first ever Got Your Back host and family gathering this weekend, hosted by the Strudwicks. We're looking forward to it. We're a little pensive about it. But there was some debate as to what the proper dessert would be to bring. Now, my apple pie dominated the poll last time around, but we felt we needed to ask around a little bit on this one. So Ray and Dregs from the famed Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast will weigh in on our debate about a proper dessert for this upcoming weekend. We've got that coming up next as well, so stay tuned. Lots more still ahead here on the show.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at sequelanddentistry.com.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
You can't bring the apple pie and ice cream. Like, what are you going to do with that? Like,
with you?
Too messy. And, oh, here's the dessert. Hey, can you guys open up room in your freezer for our ice cream? And you can't do that. That one's out. Nanaimo bars, those are for Christmas. Those are out. Sex in the pan, I mean, this has got carrot cake all over it. To me, really? It is one of the great desserts on the planet. Carrot cake lapping the field.
Interesting.
So I'm going off the board because I think you missed a couple of key desserts. One would be tiramisu.
Yeah, this is not open for other suggestions. That was not a question. No, that was, you can't redo you have choices here.
Yeah, but you're not going with four buddies. Like you're going to, it's a party with couples, right? So it's a higher standard than, you and Zuby and Dave Parker like wrestling over a chocolate chip cookie. I mean, come on. No, tiramisu or like lava cake. Something like that.
Lava cake, because that's way easier to transport than apple pie and ice cream. What are you doing over there? Why didn't you know what I thought Dregs was going to offer up? 200 grams of sliced turkey out of his freaking garage.
Dress up a turkey.
I was trying to think of a
sauce.
dessert that could be just like Napoleon ice cream or something that I could use my meat slicer for.
Ah, yes, Ray and Dregs. The inside joke there, Dregs got himself a meat slicer and has been sending us pictures of piles of sliced meat for weeks. It's disgusting and off-putting. By the way, Jason Strudwick set to join Ray and Dregs on the next episode tomorrow. So stay tuned on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast channels for Struddy make an appearance. Meantime, time for us to get to brownie points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. If you're looking for a delicious way to support your team, club, or cause, Hamel's offers an easy and profitable fundraising opportunity. Support your club and support Canada with this Canadian-owned business. Raise funds with a high-quality product everybody loves. Contact them today at albertajerky.com. I can't believe Ray went with the carrot cake, fellas. Like,
well, you know what?
A popular favorite in seniors' homes across the continent. My goodness.
Ray can score goals. He can't pick desserts. I mean, seriously, carrot cake is absolutely disgusting. You can't make a vegetable a dessert. It makes no sense at all. And Nanaimo bars, how can Nanaimo bars only be at Christmas? They're delicious all year long. So, Ray, I love you, man, but I think you made a mistake there. Let's start with brownie points. I got 29 brownie points. With the Oilers playing with only 5 D-men tonight, there's a lot of ice times on the Oilers' back end. and Brett Kulak led the way with 29 minutes tonight. He also led the team with 5 shots tonight. A good game for Brett Kulak. He'll be the number 5 D-man for the Edmonton Oilers going into the playoffs. But again, he showed tonight he is capable of more minutes and playing in bigger moments. I thought Kulak was outstanding in this hockey game. I got three brownie points to Toronto Maple Leaf forward Matthew Knies. He may have solidified first place for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight with his overtime winner that was the hat trick goal for him tonight. And if anyone gets a chance to go on TSN to watch the highlights, he has a 2-on-1 in overtime. He goes between his legs to pass the puck. It was unbelievable. And he snapped it across, and it ended up turning into be a backdoor goal for him. But an unbelievable play by Matthew Knies tonight. He gets the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think they're now 3 up on Tampa, first in the division. I got 11 brownie points to the other Connor. With injuries, he gets a chance to play on the top line. Connor Brown scores 2, including the game winner. It's not how you start the year, but how you finish. Connor Brown now has 3 goals in his last 4 games. And I thought he had a fantastic game tonight, both in the offensive and defensive zones. I have six brownie points to the Minnesota Wild's Joel Eriksson-Ek and Kirill Kaprizov. The Wild have been hammered with injuries, much like the Oilers, but probably for a longer stretch of time, and have fallen down in the standings. But tonight they got their 2 superstars back. And what did those 2 superstars do? They combined for 6 goals. Eriksson-Ek has 4 goals. Kaprizov has 2, including the one in overtime. The Wild, if they get healthy, can be a relevant hockey club again. Remember, they were the best team in the NHL for the first probably 30, 40 games of the season until they ran into injuries. And finally, this is my favorite one right here. I have 2,022 brownie points to Colorado Avs captain Gabriel Landeskog, who today was assigned to the Colorado Eagles of the American Hockey League. He has not played a game, any game, NHL, minors, anywhere, since 2002 when they won the Stanley Cup. I give credit to a player that he could have sailed into retirement, collected his paycheck, and been remembered as a legendary Colorado Avalanche holding a Stanley Cup. And he's been 3 years rehabilitating through a number of surgeries to the point where here we are 3 years later, he's going to the minors on a conditioning stint. I really, really hope that Gabe Landeskog plays for the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs. I think it would be an absolutely incredible story. So 2,022 brownie points to the Colorado Avalanche captain. And those are my brownie points.
Not a lot to argue with there. That Landeskog story, Struddy, that's shaping up to really be something, man. Have you seen any of the behind-the-scenes video that they've been releasing? He's had cameras following him around and such. Have you seen any of that, Struds?
Yeah, I watched some of it today. Yeah. And it's tough when it was announced, to start the year, and he went out there, then he didn't want to know where to go. He just went and hid. He was hiding in a hallway. And
he was
just
in tears
up.
under the stands. Yeah.
Feeling
on opening night.
It sounds like he feels like he's letting the team down and letting the fans down. And it's, what an admirable quality, in a guy. Although I would not think that as a teammate. He's injured.
Pure leadership. Basically, from the time he entered the league, he was a captain young, really young captain. And I don't know what he's got left in terms of a player, but just being around that team, if he gets into games, the mojo that's going to give that group will really be something. Would not want to tangle with a refurbished Avalanche team, Brownie.
And the one thing that I think it will allow him to do, hopefully, is retire on his own terms. That, I come back, I battled all the way back, and now I've come back, I've shown I can play again, and now I can decide when I finish my career, when I'm going to say no more. He's not going to allow the injury to stop him and define him. So good on him. I really do. I really, really hope. Can you imagine if his first game is on home ice and he skates out onto the ice? That place will be absolutely nuts. So I hope we get to see it. I really do. I hope he gets to play for the Colorado Avalanche in the playoffs this year.
100%. Okay, those were brownie points brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky. Before we get to this edition of Struddy's World, just some follow-up information is required here, Struds. Have they caught the culprit that broke into your friend's mansion just to steal your picture off the wall? And any update if the picture is shown up anywhere? Any updates from a hard-hitting Struddy's World?
Well, I don't want to ruin it. Actually, Struddy's World will be an update on the whole situation.
Oh!
Quite a plot
that's
twist.
exciting.
Quite a plot
A
twist,
plot
actually.
twist.
So
I gotta be
buckle
honest,
up,
guys.
listeners.
I was in Studio 99 tonight after the game, and I had a gentleman come up and say, "Oh my God, I was listening to the Gold Brick story by Jason Strudwick. What a story!" So I am sure he said he was going to be listening tonight.
Okay.
So he's probably just as excited as me and Shog are about what happens. It's like part 2.
All right. Zuby, here's what we're going to do. We had some requests for additional Weiss Johnson jingles because we failed to do it earlier in the show. So I want to get quick Weiss Johnson jingle and then roll the Struddy's World animation. Hit it.
Weiss Johnson, whoa. We're proud to be local and family.
For Struddy's World.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Kale Slater says, plot twist. Struddy organized the heist. Would not be surprising. Struddy's World brought to you by our great friends over at Timber House Developments, where if you can dream it, you know they can make it happen. A truly customized building experience. They got you covered. Every house is unique. Every customer's like family. See what you can dream up together. Contact timberhouse.ca. Actually, really cool houses, Struds. We were at the office there not too long ago. They build cool stuff, man. Cool sight lines, different stairs, focus on windows and lighting and feng shui. Like, it's unique. It's different stuff at Timber House, buddy.
Yeah, it sure is. It's amazing. And they've got good coffee and tea there.
All right, let's hear this plot twist, buddy. I can't wait.
So if you're not sure, if you're just in here the last one, a friend of mine's home cabin was robbed, and the item they chose to take was a valuable piece of art, an autograph picture myself to them, personalized and all that, and they took it. So, I got a call from the family. They were a bit surprised that I shared it publicly, but they're glad because now it's out there. And I've seen this story making a lot of news at different feeds across Alberta, Northern Alberta, the Fort McMurray, Courrier and Lloydminster Press. They're all making big news of it. So plot twist here. I thought my picture was the only one that was stolen. Turns out there's another very big celebrity that we all know here had something stolen off the wall. Brett Kissel, autographed picture stolen off the wall. Apparently his was a bit below mine, obviously, or maybe behind, I'm not sure, but they took it at the same time. And when I found that out, I called Brett Kissel myself. I said, Kisser, hey man, like this is what happens. Like he was shocked. Couldn't believe that he was lucky enough to have his stolen with mine. But we're talking about maybe doing a benefit concert, try to get these things back and see if we can get enough money together, or GoFundMe maybe through this concert, and try to replace these incredible heirlooms that this family's lost. So now we're on the lookout for a Strudwick personalized card and Brett Kissel. He told me it's kind of weird. He does 14 by 16 pictures, not 8 by 10.
So, like, I guarantee you they told you that Kissel's picture was taken too the other day. You just didn't hear it. You were just so enamored with the idea that yours was the big prize. So. You didn't even pay attention and listen.
No, I that could be true. But, I love Brett Kissel. But when you hear that your own picture was stolen, that's pretty much the highlight of your year.
Well, the good thing about this benefit concert that you're going to have, I mean, you're only going to need 3 or 4 people to show up to be able to make enough money to buy the pictures over again.
Why don't you dummies not waste your night on a benefit concert and sign 2 more pictures, you lugheads?
We're looking to raise 6 cents.
Colin Williams says Struddy's World twice a day may lead to inflation of head. Yeah, too late. Too late. It's running away from us here. Struddy's he's taking on a life of his own. Starting over at 61, ransom demands for the Struddy gold brick, $50 Timmy's card, and a bus token. That sounds approximately right in terms of retail value.
Seems a little high.
So how are these people feeling, Struddy? Were they rattled by this whole thing? Are they good now? Or are they put in a security system? Like what's the plan?
Trying to put the pieces back together. I mean, where do you go after this? You know, and so I'm in constant communication with them. You know, just seeing where they're at, and I'm trying to find they're the same 8x10, but they're hard to come by. You know, Kisser's on his own mission. He'll send them a record or something, get it signed up. You know, these big wheel music guys. But yeah, we'll try to get the 8x10, and then he can put his record behind my picture again, and we'll go from there.
I don't think you want to make this too public because, you know, better players will see it and they'll say, oh, tell you what, we'll give you a picture. Like, I mean, I see you lost that and all of a sudden you'll be in the bathroom. We got the Strudwick one. Yeah, just put it in the bathroom behind the house coat or something.
Over the shed.
We got a Messier one now. We got a Bouchard one now. We don't need a Strudwick one now.
Wayne Gretzky's going to reach out, and mine will be underneath the table so it doesn't rock anymore.
Oh, boy. All right, Struddy's World, the update we all needed. We're all going to sleep better tonight. Brought to you by our good friends over at Timber Haas Developments. Brownie, we're going to spring you, buddy. Great work as always. We will chat with you after the Oilers and the San Jose Sharks on Friday night. And then we also got to discuss, Brownie, you and I, our pre-Strudwick party that the Browns and the Rishaugs are going to have ahead of time. We got to nail down some details for that. Randy and I are putting together a special menu for that. So we'll figure that out. But that's just the Browns and Strudwicks, or the Browns and Rishaugs on that one.
Whoa. I hope that wasn't a Freudian slip there. Well,
no.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we'll eventually get to Strudsy's house. I mean, Shona said she would drive the Browns to the Rishaug's party too. So Shona's in for that. I'm just, I don't know what you didn't mention it yet, but it is now officially my birthday. So thank you very much, both of you guys, for remembering. It's been my birthday now for 54 minutes. Nothing from either one of you. Both you guys could have been the first two to wish me. Huh?
63?
Yes.
Not quite, but not far away. No, I'm still in my mid to late 50s. It's a big day. This is a big one. I'm a big fan of ketchup. So Heinz 57. It's a big one. So yeah. But I appreciate that, guys. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Did you take your Social Security yet?
You.
Hey, have you started claiming it?
I actually am 12 years. 12 years ago, I could have started taking my NHL pension. I've held off a little bit, but right now I can't afford to take my pension because my stocks have fallen a little bit. I don't know if you guys have noticed this thing going on in the world right now, but so that's why I'm still working here at age 57.
Well, happy birthday, buddy. The best guys.
Well, you guys are the
we'll
best.
celebrate. We'll celebrate on Saturday night, and then we'll go over to Strud's house.
Then we'll go to Strud's afterwards.
No itinerary. Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what? Buddy. Tell you what, I'll bring the Nanaimo bar, you bring the apple pie, and we'll have a party.
Catan. Yeah. And Catan. You got
Brownie,
it. That's actually what's happening. We're luring you over here for Catan.
I want to tell you, Brownie.
I'm coming straight to your house, Struds. I'll see you there.
Yeah, I know. That's not
bye-bye.
Brownie, I did remember your he left.
Jesus
I'm not loud enough. Trying to
God,
get in there. I did remember his birthday,
hey?
but it's not for another 4 minutes here where I live. I was just thinking about it earlier today.
Oh, sure.
So in 4 minutes, happy birthday to Steve as well, because as we know, just Steve and Brownie share the same birthday. So it'll be Steve's birthday here in 4 minutes in BC.
All right. Happy birthday to the fellers. Okay, let's get to our core blue liners. And that segment is brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you're a small to medium-sized business, HSE Core has your back when it comes to health and safety compliance, from creating and managing a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislation and core requirements. They support client operations every step of the way. Visit www.hsecor.com. Noah Philp is not a defenseman, so this interview does not really fit in a core blue liners segment, but we've got the interview and we need to run it. So I don't think that, I don't know, you know Tom better than I do, Struds. Do you think he'd be upset if we messed with the integrity of the core Blue Liners segment by, in fact, running an interview with a forward in it.
No, I think he gets it. I think he gets it. And I think that it is an important piece of the future. I think Tom's always looking to the future for the Oilers.
All right. Gord Parch says core fourth liners. Good substitute title. Quick chat with Noah Philp earlier today. Here it is.
Well, welcome back up to Edmonton, Noah. Just maybe take us through what it's like getting an emergency recall. I know you're always looking to come up, but that has to be exciting for you.
Yeah, super exciting. Whenever team needs an extra guy, and there's been a lot of injuries on both clubs, but always happy to get a chance.
Standing here, your nose is bleeding right in front of me here. Is this something you picked up in practice, or how does this happen?
No, this was I got an elbow a few games ago playing with Bakersfield, and
still feeling it.
Had a scab, and I think it.
You're picking the scab.
Yeah, I think it came off. Yeah.
So when you went down, what were the kind of the instructions that you get? What they want to see you work on in order for you to get back up here, and take us through how it's gone, where you think your game is at right now.
I just think they want me to focus on some of the intangible stuff, like just being physical, using my size and skating, and trying to find a little bit of scoring touch. They don't expect me to come in and score 1 million goals, but it's always nice if you can contribute a little bit offensively. And playing more minutes down in Bakersfield, you get more of a feel for that. So I think just a little bit of everything.
I know you never want to see guys get hurt. It's crazy what's happening right now. Not just at the NHL level, but I understand you lost a couple of guys in the American League the other day too. Like the number of injuries happening right now, but that injury can equal opportunity at times for guys too.
Yeah, I mean, in multiple ways, guys coming up from the East Coast, which I saw in Bakersfield, guys stepping up and getting a chance, and then guys like me who get a chance to come here. And anytime you have an opportunity, you got to seize it, and hopefully we can do that.
You had an excellent training camp. A lot of fans wanted to see you stay here. You've gotten a couple of opportunities. Do you feel like through the course of this year you've made some of the development that you were wanting to, and do you feel like it's tracking in the right direction for you? And whether it's late this year or next year, like it's going the right way?
Yeah, I think so. I hadn't played a lot of hockey in the last few years, and I just think getting in games was big for me, and getting the feel for it. All the little fine-tuned things with the game, and I find that's gotten better throughout the year.
How much have you enjoyed just being back in it, background teammates, back on the road? Like, I know being away from the game for that long, I imagine is hard. And how's it been?
It's been amazing. Yeah. It's been amazing, yeah. I have zero complaints. I'm enjoying coming to the rink every day, and just really enjoying the process of this year, and hopefully try to make a splash.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, no thanks to Noah Philp for taking a couple of extra minutes today. Struds, we talked a little bit about him tonight. What did you think overall?
I think that the first period of the challenge, he played 2 minutes. No one can play. Like the mascot had more ice time than Hunter had more ice time than him. So I thought as the game went on, he got more ice time. His legs got going, and his line started skating and getting in on pucks. And I think he was exactly correct what he said. He said he wants to use his big body, be physical, skate, and chip into some goals. Those are 3 things he can do. Now we're going to add, I'm guessing next year, more important face-off role, and then a penalty killing role. I think that's what we'll see. But you start with those 3 basic things to get the coaches knowing that you can do it every night, and now you add more pieces as you go along.
All right, that was our Core Fourth Liners segment brought to you by HSE Core Services. Zuby calling it audible. We're going to keep rocking and rolling with the content here. And let's get to our Take a Lap segment. That is brought to you by our friends over at Acon. So if you're a skilled tradesperson or construction professional and you're looking for work, they are hiring. Send your resume to trades@acon.com, looking for skilled tradespersons or construction professionals. It's one of Canada's original industrial contractors, building some of the largest multi-year industrial projects in Western Canada. Once again, the email address trades@acon.com. Struds, what else would you like to discuss tonight, my friend?
Yeah, I'll keep it pretty tight here. Officially, even though they didn't play tonight, the Vancouver Canucks were eliminated from the playoff race. They are out.
How's Blommer? Wellness check on Blomsky.
Someone give Blomsky a virtual hug. So it's, this is it's not like it's a big surprise. It wasn't come down to the last game of the year, but now I'm really interested to see how this all plays out. Not just when the year ends next in a week, whatever it is, how it all plays out. Talkett's job, Pedersen, all these different details, what they're going to do with this team, not to mention some pretty significant free agents, including Brock Besser. So this is a team to watch, and it does have an impact on Oilers because they are in the Pacific Division and how good they were, this time last year. And then a sad note from the world of hockey, and I feel terrible for his family. Ray Shero passed away at the age of 62. Ray was a longtime, executive in the NHL. Joined the Pittsburgh Penguins in 2005, I believe. Won the Cup in 2009 with that group. Moved on to the Devils GM and got that team going, including, I believe, Jack Hughes drafting. And then as of recently, he'd been the kind of advisor to Billy Guerin with the Minnesota Wild. So very well-respected guy in the league. I always understood he was a bit of a outside-the-box thinker.
Yes.
And he'll be missed. 62 years old. So Ray Shero, all the best to him and his family and his friends. That were many, many, many tributes pouring in.
Oh man, so well respected in the hockey community. It's been a tough couple of days, man. With Millie
Really
the other
rough.
day and this now.
Yeah.
Bruce McCurdy last week. Like just lots of we've been doing too much of this stuff here lately, but we definitely want to give it his due. So I actually got to know Ray a little bit, and there was a dinner there with a bigger group that we were part of, and many conversations with him as I started going to the general manager meetings for TSN regularly with the insiders. There are lots of opportunity to have conversations with different people at those events. And I always remember that Ray he remembered your name, right? I didn't think I wouldn't be a guy whose name he would remembered your name, always had a handshake and a hello, was very kind, very cordial, loved to stand there and talk hockey with anybody. Just a very kind, gracious man. And I know how well respected he was among our senior people, Mackenzie and company and Dregs and those people who'd been around a long time. So yeah, man, that's a big loss, and our thoughts to his family. And but a heck of an accomplished career as well. Spent a lot of years there in Pittsburgh as well with Crosby and company. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our friends at Acon. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, ask us anything. Get your questions in for Zuby. Anything you want to know, whatever, hockey related, life related. You have questions about our gathering this weekend. What do you want to know? Struds and I are going to be an open book for you in our next segment. So stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
All right, Zuby, let's actually get to our scoreboard because we've got some other action around the league that we got to get to, brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new CC Classic 18-year-old high proof comes in at 58%. Their highest proof Canadian Club Classic to date. Full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Some critical and crazy matchups and results tonight, Struds.
Lots of goals in the NHL tonight. We'll start out east. The Maple Leafs go into Tampa Bay after losing pretty easily to Florida. They win 4-3. Matthew Nyes gets the OT winner and a hat trick for Toronto. So that's a huge win for them, and maybe one of the final daggers for them to win that division out east. Sharks and Wild. The Wild game 8-7. Eric Stanek has a 4-goal night. Kaprizov has 2 goals. Celebrini has 5 points. So there was points galore in this one. The shots were 44 for the Wild and 31 for the Sharks, and there's 15 goals. Rough night in the pipes. And then the Ducks were losing 3-1 to the Flames. They come back and win in overtime. Cutter Gauthier, the last 2 goals, I think that's his 18th and 19th of the year. So this really hurts the Flames. They're not out of it, but man, it stings with the Wild winning and the Flames losing. It feels like that's a fairly large bridge to cross for them to get up there and catch the Wild. So tough one for the Flames.
Yeah, boy, different results for the Oilers and the Flames tonight, man. Like that would have been 4 points. If that gap's 4 points, everybody puckers up pretty tight there, Struds. But what was it, 2 goals in 9 seconds, you said?
Yeah, 2 goals in 9 seconds. Yeah, and if the Wild would have lost, and the Flames won, and the Oilers lost, like now you got yourself a pretty big dogfight. So now, and this is what happens when you're always chasing it. It's really hard to reel people in, especially get down these last 3, 4, 5 games. So it's not over for the Flames, but it feels hard. Sorry, was that English? They do play the Wild.
It was not.
I think next game, I believe they play them next game.
Yeah, they've got the Wild. Yeah, they got a head-to-head with the Wild.
So that can help a bit, but man, it's tough road. Tough road. And they're getting healthy, so it's not going to get easier for the Flames.
All right. That was our scoreboard brought to you by Canadian Club. Zuby, hop in here, buddy. Let's wrap up our YouTube, or De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. Sorry. I've been 2 pods in a row. I've struggled with that one. Oof. Off script, it gets ugly for me.
It's late.
First of all, solid
late,
sweater,
pal. No
Zuby. Solid sweater action tonight. Is that
thanks.
new? Is that Lulu?
No, it's not new, but yes, it is Lulu. It's my Lulu waffle thingy. Oh, thanks, guys.
Interesting. Yeah.
I think
His
they
shoulders
still
are a little more muscular than I had thought, Struds. Is it just me, or it's a tighter fit there?
He's got bowling ball shoulders, right? Nice and muscular. Nice definition.
Yeah. Well done, Zuby. Well done.
I have many things. Definition is not one of them, but I do have broad shoulders. Probably one of my. It's great to just be head and shoulders in a box when that's like your best body part, I guess. So, pretty good deal. Okay, so the poll question tonight was: if everyone is healthy, is Jeff Skinner in your playoff lineup? I haven't even ended it yet, but it was pretty. I thought it might skew even further. We had 87% saying yes, he's in my lineup. 13% saying no. The math actually works out to 100% tonight, so it's not like that. Whatever happened in our other yes/no poll with 100 votes, where the final it was like 53% and 44 or something like that. Some nonsense. So 83% of people saying they're playing Jeff Skinner game 83 or game
All right.
83% in game 83.
Nice.
And I did ask Knobloch about that earlier today, and he basically said he's got to keep doing what he's been doing in order for him to be a lock in the playoffs. So probably another positive performance that you can check off for Jeff Skinner, and we'll see which way it goes. Okay, let's get to Ask Us Anything. I see lots of good action coming in on the stream. We're after 1 a.m. and still really strong group with us tonight. So thanks again, as always, to our amazing and loyal viewers. Mortgages by Maria brings us Ask Us Anything. If you need a new mortgage, renewal date is just around the corner. Don't sign early and just take the bank's first offer. Look at some options. And timing, your renewal with potential rate drops could save you thousands of dollars. Maria Gallus can help you with all of that. Contact her at mortgagesbymaria.ca for expert guidance and better mortgage solutions. What do we got tonight, Zuby?
By the way, on those questions to Knobloch about Skinner, I know Hank 809 on the comment section of Struddy's World this morning thanked you for asking those questions. Hank 809 here on the stream here also referring to my goalie physique, which that's act. There's a few things I've done to my physique over the years. Haven't helped my mobility, but I do take up more net. So there's something to that, I guess, when my positioning is good. Okay, let's start here. Stealth Legends wants to know, what are your guys' opinions on another Oilers versus Kings series this coming postseason. Are you excited because it's a good rivalry, or is it would you rather see a different team going head to head, Struddy?
Yeah, I think we have to know where the health is of this team before we get in there and really dive into it. But I mean, I guess what are the other options? The other options would be Vegas, I suppose, or if they're on top, maybe you could take on, either the Wild or the Blues. I don't think there's any like Vegas is pretty good. I'm not sure those other teams are monsters. So I think this is a good place to start. And the teams know each other well. That's what I think I would like if I was in it. There's not going to be a lot of surprises here on either side. They know each other well.
Yeah, there's some history, but there's also some animosity there, right? A few of these players have hurt one another, flat out, in both directions. A few of these players have hurt one another. It'll be nasty. There'll be lots of emotion. The LA Kings are going to be desperate. They've gone to bed every night for years thinking about the Edmonton Oilers being the team that ended their season, and that's going to add up. Can the Oilers do it again? You'd think at some point the dam has got to break, and you could also make the argument that of all those years, Struds, is this how would you compare this Oiler team to the last three that played LA, and how would you compare that LA team? Some might suggest this is the weakest Oiler team, and that might be the best LA team. So we'll see what it looks like when it's all pieced together, but you could make that argument potentially.
Quinton Byfield. He's good, guys. He's really good. He wasn't that good the last couple of years.
Yeah. How about that goal he scored the other night? That to me is like one of the goals of the year, to do that one-handed, knock it down, and then shovel it.
Yeah, you know what though, boys? Sorry to be a party pooper. Shouldn't have counted. Like, potentially the NHL's goal of the year, and we're all going to watch it 100 times, shouldn't have counted. Literally had the other guy's stick in his hand. Oh. You can see him standing there holding the other guy's stick as he's one-handing it in, Struds.
That's
no
competing.
goal. Waved off.
Competing for space.
That was no goal. Zuby, at some point, make sure you get to that one from Vane Moretsky, because it's an important issue that a lot of fans in the online community have been asking about. Doesn't have to be right now, but there's one up there a little bit about the point shots.
Okay, yeah, I'll grab that. I did see that. Cale Slater, I'll give you a couple here. Shogger, injury updates. What's up with Wallman? And there was another one just sort of saying, is there any update on Kane? Has anything changed on Evander Kane, or is it what we know already?
Nothing has changed on Evander Kane. I mean, when you see Gabriel Landeskog going down to the American Hockey League on a conditioning stint to make sure he's ready to go and good to go for playoff hockey, that does have me curious to reach out to Oiler management to see if this might be considered for Evander Kane. Because if Landeskog can go do it, if he's ready to play, you wonder if that would be in the cards. I doubt it, but it makes me want to ask the question again. As for Wallman, I think he wasn't feeling quite right. Went out for morning skate to test it out. They made the decision that it's not quite right. I believe it's a lower body. Wouldn't surprise me if it was a groin or something like that. So he'll be, I think he's kind of day to day and might be available on Friday.
All right, we've got a good funny one about the shindig that I'm gonna save. So if you see that one in there, Shogger, don't. I've got that one. It's a good question.
Gotcha.
Trizent, let's continue on some injury talk. And Trizent wants to know what goes through a player's mind when they're injured. How worried about losing their spot are they? Struddy, do you ever have any long injuries where you didn't know what was going to be there for you when you came back?
Well, yeah. I mean, anytime I was in a lineup, you're worried someone's going to take your spot. But it all depends where you are on the roster. Like if you're a top 10 forward and a top 5 D-man, you're fine. Like it's always the fringe guys, right? It's your 6 D-man. It's your 11, 12 forwards. Those are the ones that get changed out. Like let's just be honest here. So, we know the players are going to be coming out of this lineup for the most part. And on the back end, it'll be Emberson and Stetcher fighting for that spot, right? That's so, when Kane comes back, he'll be in the lineup. When Frederick comes back, he'll be in the lineup, right? All these guys are, so that's the challenge. Now that you might be in a different spot in the lineup, but they're going to be in the lineup. So there is fear for sure. But just depends where you are in the lineup.
And should also mention as part of this that John Klingberg put on LTIR So part of the reason this had to happen with McDavid playing, Philp was recalled on an emergency basis, and I think that transaction needed to happen as a result. So, this Klingberg thing has not worked out at all. And I understand it was a calculated risk. I still think it was too much money. I don't know why it needed to be $1.7 million. I don't know how many options there were on the table for him. It took it from an understandable risk to a kind of expensive one that became a lot riskier. And it has not panned out at all, Struds, at a time when they had to squeeze every dollar out of their cap. This was a miss.
At least it's 1 year, they got to reset with some of that money next year. I'm not sure exactly where it'll go, but it right now, I have a hard time seeing him getting in the playoff game. Just because he hasn't played at all. And when he was playing, he wasn't himself just yet.
Yeah. There was a quick question about Kane following up. How often is he even practiced? He's on the ice every day. Skating out there, looks good with the team. He's out there working hard every day.
I have to give, this is a very funny comment. Colin Williams says, Kane might go to the AHL if there was a documentary. That's funny. Okay. In another direction, Ben Dofer wants to know, what does the league do to ensure refs are better? Quality control. We know there's been discussion about certain refs don't ref in the playoffs. How does the league, how do they monitor this? How do they control it? And what's the protocol? How many refs are reffing in the regular season? And what does the roster get whittled down to, Shogger?
Well, I don't know the number, but it gets whittled down reasonably significantly. So they are very closely monitored, believe it or not. Every game, there's reports that are filed. There's a director of officiating that oversees it. They go over it. I believe they get game grades. There's a very comprehensive system that goes on behind the scenes. Just none of it is transparent. And I think that's why it's so angering for fans, Struds. Like, they want their pound of flesh. They want people to be accountable. Why shouldn't refs have to talk after games? They're punished in the pocketbook. If you don't make the playoff cut, that changes how much money you make. If you go deep into the Stanley Cup final, and you're one of those few on those crews, that's how you're rewarded. But a lot of it is behind the scenes, Struds, that we just never see.
Yeah, and I'm actually fine with that. Even as a player, I was fine with that. I think that you put him up on the podium to say what, you made a mistake. Is that what fans want? Is acknowledgement that there was a mistake made?
Yeah.
Would that make you feel better? They're not going to go back and change it. So there's hundreds of calls every night. What percentage do they get blatantly wrong? Not very many. The only thing that we can talk about, because it's not offsides, it's not goals against, it's the penalties being called. Every fan thinks their team's getting screwed. Every fan. You watch that game tonight, the St. Louis Blues fan. My God, that was the worst ref game ever. How did they let Perry get away with running the goalie and he didn't get a penalty initially? Like, I've played 5 different teams. Every team thinks their team is getting screwed by the league. So that's why I have no patience for it at all. I think the refs do a good job. They are heavily scrutinized because they've come through and talked to us about how they went through it. It was, who was it? Welcome, I think, was a guy that came around and talked about the protocols, the reviews of the refs, and then how they whittle them down and how they're continuing to do it in the playoffs. So they feel they get the best refs in there and the linesmen as well for the final. So I don't know. You're talking about hundreds, and we're a small fraction of the number of the things that they get wrong. So I think humanity enters this. After every night that a player plays bad, does Jim have to answer for his bad signing? I think there's a point where fans just want to hear it. They just want to hear the words, but I'm like, we already know it.
Okay, last one sort of about hockey, and then we got a couple fun ones to finish it up. We'll do this one from Vane Retsky says, why do the Oilers avoid slot shots and favor point shots? We have seen a massive drop in shooting percentage and goals because point shots are low danger. I hate the button hook.
Well, it worked tonight. Let's look at the goals against or goals for tonight. That was the rhythm. Go from low to high, up, boom, shoot to that, and they're in front. I agree, though. I think that their two are line, and that's their first move is to go up high to the D. The D are shooting pucks in from there. And what do you want the D to do if they got to get it there? You want them to pass it back down below? You'll never see it again. So I do think their first move should be to try to take it to the net. And I debate with some friends, is this a coaching thing or is this just what the players do? And I think it's maybe got to be part of his coaching. They're finding the open ice up high. But Schauger, I'd love for them to get to that inner slot more often. Just try to drive it there more often.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And there have been some good articles written about this by a number of different people. Maybe it's all, if I get a chance, maybe I'll ask Knobloch about it before the end of the season. I think that if you're going to the net, those point shots that fundamentally are lower danger shots, right? And they register as lower danger shots on the, the metrics and the weighting and expected goals and all that stuff. But if you have players going to the net and creating traffic, fundamentally it increases the danger of that shot. And the Oilers all season long, I think, have needed to do a better job of that. If you're going to commit to being a point shot team as much as they have, then the message needs to be loud and clear. Guys need to get to the front of the net. And they've been doing a better job of that, to your point, Struds. We've seen some goals, rebounds, knockdowns, some havoc, those sorts of things. So I'm not necessarily, against it, but the rest of the team needs to be on board there. But my understanding is it's even been a bit of a trend in the American Hockey League as well. So something that we will keep an eye on, but a great point and a conversation piece that's being had among analytics folks.
Okay, here's a good one from our friend starting over at 61. Will there be ripple chips at this shindig? Any dip for said ripple chips? I hope one of you guys is bringing a bag of ripple and a bag of Lay's and a bag of regular and making this happen. I feel
like it's rude. Like, we haven't been asked to bring snacks. So if you haven't been asked to bring snacks and you show up with snacks, I feel like the message you're sending is we were worried about what your snack selection might be. And so we wanted to make sure by bringing our own. And I feel that might be a little bit insulting, Strud. So we're going to be relying on you for the snacks.
No, that's fair. And knowing, you and Brownie, you guys will bring just plain chips anyways. And then, I don't know, I'll use those when I mail something, put them in just so nothing gets broken. Just no flavor.
Okay, Noel Rinsky, he says he's a PE teacher and planned to have a fun day in the gym tomorrow due to this late night as he's here on the stream with us. Can you guys sign a note for my principal, or maybe you guys could just look into the camera? Noel could cue this up on his phone tomorrow and give him an excuse for why Noel should be able to just have a fun day with the kids in PE today.
I'll call the school. Just tell me the school and the principal's name. I'll give him a call. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, bottom line here, and I'll speak directly to Noel's principal and the students in this class. We would not be able to do the back half of this podcast without Noel Rinsky's contributions.
True.
Yeah.
So he had no choice but to stay up with us tonight. He's a valued contributor on this show, and without him, we would have had to shut the whole thing down early. So he absolutely needed to be up this late, and he deserves whatever space he chooses to take later on today.
Dodgeball.
Oh, yeah. That's what Avi Hoffman says. Dodgeball, murder ball.
Okay, very last one. I forgot about this one. Cherniowski says, I watched a YouTube clip entitled Jason Strudwick OT winner versus Pittsburgh 11-17-07. After Struddy scored, the commentator says, who would have thought Strudwick would get a shift in OT? Wow. Struddy, what? I didn't know about that. I want to hear this story.
Yeah, I think we were trying to tank that year, but finally they put me out there and it backfired on them, and we got the win. So there you go. No, it was against Pittsburgh. I mean, whatever. Sidney Crosby gets a minus. Whatever. I don't want to ruin his legacy. Scored on Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm sure other people have scored on him twice. Whatever. I don't want to get into it. But yeah, overtime winner. Backdoor tap and hey-o. How you doing? Good. Thanks for asking.
Was there
two claps and a yip for Struddy for that?
That's awful.
Was there? How was the post game Sally that night, Struddy? Did you?
It was good.
Yeah.
To be honest, I did jump into the glass, and then Shanahan jumps in my arms. I was just yelling out, "Who wanted a goal? Who wanted a goal?" That's what I was yelling out.
What does that even mean? Was he supposed to say, I did? Like, what did you want there?
No, but it's kind of funny, cocky. Like, who wanted a goal? Like, I got it. Don't worry, I got it. Who ordered it? I got, like, the guys did appreciate it. Who wanted a goal?
That's weird.
Yeah, I'll maybe the next Struddy's World I'll tell the whole story because it's pretty funny. It's a whole day of build up.
Did you see which team was it the other day? They scored a goal and everybody just started shaking hands like gentlemen. They were just it the Wild?
That. I did see that.
They were just going like shaking hands like gentlemen. I thought it was pretty funny.
Kings. It was Trevor
Was
Lewis.
it was an older guy. Yeah, it was
good. I love that shaking. That's such a cool idea. I wish I would have thought of that.
All right, we got to get you out of here, Struds. You got to be on the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast in 6 hours. Zuby, I believe you're producing, so you guys got early mornings. Yeah. I might call in sick to the taping. Not sure that the executive producer will be on that one in the morning. So let's get ready to wrap this up with our Gallery Dental play of the day. Take the first step towards a stress-free dental experience, providing modern dentistry for today's patient with the most up-to-date dentistry, sedation, implants, and so much more. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. Struds, what do we got for a play of the day?
You score 4 goals in an NHL game, you get the tap. So Joel, don't call me Joel Eriksson-Ek, 4 goals for the Wild tonight. You get it, my friend. Congratulations.
Right on. 2 claps and a yeehaw to Joel Eric. Oh,
ruined it.
Erickson. Eriksson-Ek. By the way, Ray and Dregs, if you did not know, actually will be streamed on Twitter and YouTube as well. Keep an eye on Darren Drager's Twitter feed tomorrow, and you'll get the notice. And Struddy will be the featured guest. So looking forward to that. Good job tonight, fellas. Thanks for the late night.
Yep, love it. I'll be up in 3 hours. We're back on. Hey, Zoobs.
Yeah, me, Struddy and I, three pods together inside of 24 hours. I should come sleep at your place, and that would be easier.
Oh, now you're having sleepovers. Look at this bond continuing to grow. Next thing you know, Zuby, he's going to offer to fly you in for the party. Next thing you know.
Yeah, hasn't been offered yet. Time's ticking here.
All right, guys, good job tonight. Thanks to all of you for joining us on the stream. It's crazy, man. We're so late into the night. We have piles of people just hanging out with us online. It's nuts. We absolutely love it. We appreciate it. We can't wait to rock and roll in the playoffs with this audience because it's going to be lots of fun. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your downloads and your subscriptions. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it deeply. Thanks to that guy that thought I was Struddy tonight. And we'll chat with all of you after Friday's game against the San Jose Sharks. See ya.
I'm going to the gym right now.
You're an animal.